Seeing the bounty hunters sent to capture him, Riddick isn't scared at all because both ship power cells are in his hands. If anyone starts a fight, nobody leaves this planet. Riddick steps forward and puts down his weapons. Johns respects that kind of move and tells the others to do the same. He wants to see what this man is actually after, but he keeps one card hidden. A sniper rifle is already trained on Riddick from a distance, and Riddick's jackal is crouched in the brush, ready to move. Then Johns finally asks the question that has been eating at him for 10 years. He wants to know what happened on planet M344, the planet with 3 sons from the first story. He wants to know how his son died. Riddick is the only person who made it off that planet alive, and the only one who knows the truth.
Bob. Big Daddy Jeff.
Yeah, that's right.
Now Riddick understands. Johns came here for revenge, but Riddick can't give him a straight answer, because even if he tells the truth, Johns probably won't believe it. So Riddick shifts the conversation.
You are the guy who said that he was going to put my head in a box, right?
That was me splitting noise.
But you do have a box.
I mean, of course I've got a box. Everyone's got a box, man.
Good. We're going to use it.
He says that in the past, he would have killed every single person standing here. But things are different now, and there's something on this planet far more dangerous than him. He'll hand over one power cell. Johns takes it and gets everyone else out. The other ship and the remaining cell belong to Riddick. The bearded man refuses the deal immediately, says the ships were theirs to begin with. Riddick tells him to face reality. The decision belongs to him now. Then he tells everyone to look toward the horizon. The storm is already rolling in. That rain is everyone's countdown to death. When the water floods the base, that's the deadline. If they don't take the deal, whatever happens next is on them. He turns and walks away. But the bearded man can't stand losing face like this. He grabs a weapon he had stashed and lines up a shot at Riddick's back. At the last second, the jackal launches itself at him, biting down hard on the bearded man's shoulder. Riddick grabs a weapon off the ground.
Don't do it now! Now!
But one tranq round barely slows him down. A second shot fires, but Riddick is trying to get to the dog and still won't go down. A third shot, then a fourth come in rapid succession until his legs finally give out and he drops to his knees. Across the way, the dog is still fighting for its owner, tearing at the bearded man with everything it has. But the bearded man finds his gun on the ground and ends the dog's life with one shot. Riddick can only watch as the one companion he had takes its last breath. In that moment, something breaks in him completely, because to him, that dog was never just a pet. It was the only family he had left, and he couldn't do a thing to save it. Riddick locks eyes on the bearded man and makes a silent promise. The bearded man sees his chance to finish Riddick off for good, but John steps in and blocks him because he still needs answers. When Riddick comes back to consciousness, it's nighttime. Johns has him tied up and starts pressing him hard. Now Johns holds the leverage. He keeps pushing for the truth about his son. It turns out 10 years ago, John's son died under mysterious circumstances on the ship transporting Riddick. He wants to know exactly what happened. There's even desperation creeping into his voice, but Riddick says nothing because the son was no hero. That kid used a little girl as bait to save his own skin and got torn apart by the creatures for it. Riddick knows full well Johns will never be able to accept that, so he doesn't answer directly. He just stares across at the bearded man with cold eyes.
When the chains come off, box boy, you go in the first 5 seconds.
Really? And you plan on killing me with what, your mouth?
That shiny blade.
I'd love to see you try.
The bearded man doesn't care about any of this. Right now, Riddick is completely at his mercy. Johns is caught between his personal vendetta and the safety of his crew. He goes back and forth between asking where the battery is hidden and demanding the truth about his son, threatening one moment and almost pleading the next.
Give me some fucking answers! Please!
But Riddick doesn't give him anything. Johns finally breaks and hands Riddick over to the bearded man. The bearded man is more than happy to collect on what he promised himself, taking Riddick's head and cashing in the bounty. But everything is still playing out exactly as Riddick calculated. Just as the bearded man raises his blade, the base alarms go off hard. Everyone freezes. They rush outside to see what's happening. The rain is pouring down in sheets. The life detection sensors are screaming nonstop. The screens are showing nothing but solid black movement outside. They hit the floodlights, and every single person goes silent. The rain has drawn every scorpion creature out from underground. These things normally stay buried in the wetlands, but with rain this heavy, the entire continent has become their hunting ground, and this group of people just became the prey.
Like I said, it ain't me you gotta worry about.
They scramble back inside, but even steel walls aren't enough. One guy decides to prove these creatures aren't so tough and opens up with everything he has through the wall.
Whatever they are,
Ain't so hard to kill.
The next second, a scorpion creature punches straight through the steel and takes him out. That shuts everyone up immediately. They open fire through every window, but the creatures are everywhere. One comes straight through the skylight.
What the fuck?
In 60 seconds, 2 more people are gone. Johns orders every door and window sealed, but the base defenses aren't built to hold against this. Everyone looks up. The ceiling is alive with movement. Nobody needs to say it out loud. It's only a matter of time before this place falls, and nobody has any answer for what to do. Riddick sees his moment and puts his offer back on the table.
Now here's what's gonna happen. In 60 seconds, you're gonna take the chains off. We're gonna make a play for those nodes and get off this rock. But somewhere along the line, when it gets really bad, John's gonna fold just like Little John's did.
Johns has no other play. He agrees on the spot and moves to cut Riddick loose, but the bearded man draws his blade and blocks him because he knows exactly what happens when you free someone like Riddick, especially after killing his dog. Riddick is coming for him the second those restraints come off. The two sides nearly come to blows right there. The bearded man has the numbers advantage, and Johns has no choice but to back down. But he quietly loosens the chains around Riddick's ankles. The bearded man swings his blade at Riddick immediately, but against someone like Riddick, even with both hands locked up, one leg is more than enough.
Oh!
Holy shit. Let's cut him loose.
That was 5 seconds.
I like to be a man of my word.
Everyone watching can't quite believe what they're seeing. They finally understand what Riddick actually is. Johns unlocks the rest of the restraints and goes with Riddick to retrieve the power cell. The moment the base doors open, everyone unleashes full firepower on the scorpion creatures blocking the way. Then one guy gets nicked by a small one.
No!
Nobody thinks much of it at first. The next second, the venom hits his system and he goes down hard, Riddick explains. The smaller ones are actually more deadly. Their venom concentration is several times higher than the full-grown adults. He pushes everyone to move now. They ride out on hoverbikes to recover the buried cell. The big guy is one of the bearded man's crew, but for now, he's falling under John's command.
I'll take flank.
Johns isn't fully comfortable with that, so he leaves 2 of his people back at the base, with orders to take Riddick out if he comes back alone. The 3 of them ride out through the air, but it's far from safe up there. The rain keeps getting heavier, and the ground below is completely covered in scorpion creatures. Riddick leads out front, using the jet wash from the bike engine to blast through clusters of creatures below. Then the big guy plays along on the surface, but his mind is already somewhere else. He waits for the right moment, then deliberately slams into Johns. Johns and his bike smash into a boulder. The bike is destroyed instantly, and Johns doesn't even realize he's been set up. He gets to his feet and scans the darkness around him. The growling is coming from every direction. He starts firing wildly, doesn't land a single shot. In the middle of the panics, he turns around and finds Riddick standing right next to him, just watching.
You asshole mother... Just sitting there watching.
Would have covered you. But you said no weapons.
With the bike wrecked, Johns has no choice but to ride on the back of Riddick's. The truth is, Johns isn't a bad person, and that's exactly why Riddick came back for him. It earns Riddick something he rarely gets from anyone, a small piece of Johns' trust. The 3 of them reach the location where the cell is buried, and this is when Riddick finally tells the truth. John's son was no hero. He was an addict and a coward, strung out on medication and barely in his right mind. He used a child as bait to save himself, and got exactly what he deserved. Johns can't take it in.
I don't fucking buy it. I just can't believe that my son's the bad guy in this fucking demented fairy tale of yours.
Just like Riddick knew he wouldn't, but it doesn't matter anymore. The truth, it is the truth, and Riddick is done explaining it. He digs out the buried power cell. It's hard for Johns to accept, but somewhere underneath the denial, he knows it's real. The moment the cell comes out of the ground, the big guy blindsides Johns without warning. His plan is to grab the cell, then collect the bounty on Riddick's head on top of it, but he has no idea who he's actually dealing with. Against Riddick, this guy is nothing. Even when his joints get locked up, Riddick breaks free anyway. He launches both feet into the man and sends him flying, then drops into the pit and comes up with the bone blade he left there. The big guy scrambles for a weapon to fight back, but Riddick is already faster. In his final moment, the man manages to shoot out both their bikes.
Smoke.
So that blade you buried was meant for me.
Anyone who deserved it, really.
Johns picks up the power cell and tries to walk away alone, then realizes the big guy had quietly sabotaged the other bike too. They're completely stranded. No choice but to fight their way back through the creatures on foot. And this time, every creature closing in is fully grown. The two of them carry the cell and fight back to back. Wave after wave keeps coming, but they cut through every one of them when they're almost back to the base. A scorpion creature drives its stinger into Riddick. He pulls it out himself, watches the blood keep coming, and shoves it back in to slow the bleeding. But his body finally gives out and he goes down. Johns pulls out a flash grenade and throws it, buying a few seconds against the next wave. Then he moves toward Riddick, but not to save him. He just wants the power cell off Riddick's back, and then he's gone. Johns gets back to the ship with the cell. Dale asks immediately where Riddick is. Johns doesn't answer. He just tells her to get the ship moving. On the ground, Riddick thinks he's been left behind again, but he doesn't quit. He drags his broken body over to a cluster of superheated rocks to stop the bleeding. He packs mud around his hand, then grabs the scorching rock and presses it directly onto the wound. The noise draws a swarm of scorpion creatures straight to him. He has no choice but to climb. The creatures come like a tide, and they don't stop. He gets pushed all the way to the edge of a cliff, and still doesn't give up, with nothing left in his hands. He grabs rocks off the ground and hurls them at the creatures below. He finds the last thing he has, and uses it to clamp the creature's fang jaw shut, just as he's about to run out of everything. The sky erupts. A barrage of cannon fire comes pouring down, tearing through the scorpion creatures in every direction. And within moments, the area around him is clear. Riddick looks up. It's Johns. He came back with the ship. Turns out Johns is the real deal. A far better man than the son he came here to ask about. Dale rappels down from the ship on a rope. She gets under Riddick's arm and lifts him up. Something about him clearly got to her. Riddick has crossed paths with a lot of people, but something feels different this time. They make it off the death planet, and Johns keeps his word. He leaves the bounty hunter ship for Riddick. The two men look at each other, and whatever was between them is done. But the story isn't over. Riddick heads straight back to reclaim his interstellar empire. First order of business is dealing with Scarface, but one of the servants tells him his second in command, Baco, took his fleet and broke away from the Necromonger army, disappearing into the legendary Darkverse. Baco has become something close to a god now, and it looks like whatever Riddick has been through up to this point was just the opening act